We've all been there before. We meet someone and they seem like the perfect friend. They're charming, funny, and have a lot in common with us, but eventually, we start to see a different side of them. They become manipulative, demanding, and downright toxic. If you're not careful, these people can poison your life and relationships. In this video, we will discuss 12 types of toxic people who you should avoid at all costs. If you are new here and you always want to live a happy life, please subscribe. We're constantly bombarded with negativity from the time we wake up until we go to sleep. You can see it if you turn on the TV. Go to work and you'll likely have negative coworkers, which is all too common these days. Toxic people are everywhere, and there's no avoiding them. This can lead to feeling overwhelmed and frustrated both mentally and physically. It may also cause depression, anxiety, or other psychological and physical issues. Other people are, by far, the leading source of negativity. Without taking the necessary steps to deal with these individuals, they can have a harmful effect on everyone around them, which is often their goal. Have you ever seen such an unhealthy relationship that you can't fathom why those people remain together? Or are you currently in a partnership where negativity appears to outweigh the positive aspects, but feel inclined to stay despite your reservations? 12 types of toxic people who will poison your life. 1. People who are always critical. It's important to be able to identify toxic people in your life so that you can avoid them and protect yourself from their negative influence. One type of toxic person is the always critical person. This person is never satisfied and is always quick to point out her flaws and shortcomings. They may try to put you down or make you feel bad about yourself in order to make themselves feel better. It's important to recognize these toxic behaviors and protect yourself from them. If you can't avoid the person altogether, try to limit your interactions with them and keep a positive outlook. Remember, you don't have to let someone else's negativity bring you down. 2. People who are negative and judgmental. Another type of toxic person is someone who is always negative and judgmental. They may not be as critical as the previous type, but they do have a tendency to see the worst in people, life, and situations. These types of people can make it difficult for you to maintain a positive outlook or stay motivated. If you are surrounded by this type of person, it can be helpful to limit your interactions with them or even avoid them altogether. 3. People who are overly controlling. Finally, there are those people who are overly controlling. This type of toxic person believes that their way is the only right way and will try to manipulate you into doing. 3. People who are overly controlling. Finally, there are those people who are overly controlling. This type of toxic person believes that their way is the only right way and will try to manipulate you into doing things their way. They may be oblivious to other perspectives or ideas, and they may even become aggressive if you don't comply with what they want. It's important to be aware of this type of person and maintain a safe distance from them. If possible, try to limit your interactions with them as much as you can. 4. People who are emotionally abusive. Another type of toxic person is someone who is emotionally abusive. This type of toxic person will use insults, put-downs, and mind games in order to control and manipulate you. This type of behavior can have detrimental effects on your self-esteem, as well as cause emotional trauma. It's important to recognize the signs of emotional abuse and protect yourself from this type of person by limiting your interactions with them or avoiding them altogether. 5. People who are habitually dishonest. People who are habitually dishonest can be toxic to your life. They may start off by telling little white lies, but over time, their dishonesty will erode your trust in them. As a result, you may find yourself always second-guessing their motives and words. In addition, dishonest people often create an atmosphere of suspicion and paranoia, making it difficult to relax and enjoy your time with them. If you suspect that someone in your life is being dishonest, it is important to address the issue head-on. Otherwise, their dishonesty will continue to poison your relationship. 6. People who are constantly playing the victim. Playing the victim is another type of toxic behavior. This type of person often blames others for their problems and refuses to take responsibility for their actions. They may also be self-pitying, creating a cycle where they continually seek sympathy and validation, while simultaneously putting down those around them. If you're dealing with this type of person, it's important to recognize their behavior and take steps to protect yourself. Remind yourself that you don't have to be a victim in order for them to get the sympathy they seek. 7. People who are manipulative. People who are manipulative, for example, will try to control every aspect of your life. They may also be jealous and possessive, and they may try to undermine your relationships with other people. If you find yourself in a relationship with a manipulative person, it is important to take steps to protect yourself. Set boundaries and stick to them, and don't hesitate to ask for help if you feel like you're being controlled. Other types of toxic people include those who are always negative, those who refuse to take responsibility for their own actions, and those who are constantly in drama. If you find yourself surrounded by toxic people, it may be time to reassess your relationships and make some changes. 8. People who waste our time. These toxic individuals are often characterized by their tendency to waste our time, energy, and resources. They may make us feel bad about ourselves or make us doubt our abilities. In some cases, they may even be physically abusive. It's important to be able to identify these toxic people so that we can avoid them and protect ourselves from their negative influence. Some common signs that someone may be toxic include always talking about themselves, trying to control or manipulate others, being excessively critical or judgmental, being manipulative or exploitative, and making us feel guilty or ashamed. If you suspect that someone in your life is toxic, it's important to take steps to protect yourself and remove yourself from the situation if possible. Remember, you have a right to live a happy and healthy life free from toxicity. 9. People who are selfish. People who are selfish have an uncompromising attitude toward pleasing themselves. They tend to put their own interests and needs first, regardless of the cost to those around them. This type of behavior is typically rooted in narcissism or a lack of empathy. It can be difficult to deal with this kind of person because they rarely consider the feelings of others. If you're dealing with someone who is selfish and toxic, it's important to recognize the situation and take steps to protect yourself from their behavior. Establishing boundaries and refusing to engage in their manipulative tactics can help you stay safe and keep your sanity intact. 10. People who are controlling. We all know someone who is just a little too controlling. They always need to be in charge and always need to know what is going on. Even if you are just hanging out with them, they will try to control the conversation and the activity. If you are in a relationship with them, they will likely be very controlling of you. This type of person can be toxic to your life because they leave you feeling powerless and trapped. You may start to doubt yourself and your abilities because you are constantly being told what to do. If you recognize this behavior in someone, it is important to set boundaries and stick to them. Otherwise, you may find yourself in a very unhealthy situation. 11. People who are judgmental. People who are constantly judging others can be toxic to your life. They may make snide comments or criticize the people and things around them. They often have a need to feel superior, but in reality, their behavior is damaging to those around them. If you find yourself in a relationship with someone who is judgmental, it's important to protect yourself and establish boundaries. Letting them know that their behavior is not acceptable can help them understand the impact of their words and actions. It's also important to remember that you are enough, and no one has the right to judge who you are or what you do. 12. People who take advantage of others. Some people take advantage of those around them in order to get what they want. These toxic individuals often manipulate their victims with guilt or shame in order to control and exploit them. They may also use their power or influence over someone to make them feel obligated to do things that they don't want to do. If you recognize this behavior in someone, it is important to understand that it is wrong and take steps to protect yourself from them. Setting boundaries and removing yourself from the situation can help you stay safe and avoid further damage. Conclusion. Toxic people can have a damaging effect on our lives, but with awareness and understanding, we can protect ourselves from their negative influence. Recognizing the signs of toxicity and setting boundaries can help us stay safe and keep our sanity intact. Remember, you have a right to live your life free from toxicity so that you can focus on achieving your goals and living your best life. By recognizing and managing toxic people, you can better protect yourself from their negative influence and build a healthier, happier life for yourself. This is an important part of self-care. Taking the time to identify who you let into your life can help make sure that you have the support and space to live your life free from toxicity.